Hello, here's some feedback on your 1230 Strongholds PB. Let's go. 6 instances. Oh yes, I know six instances as well. This is good. You seem to find the chunk very quickly. With just a little bit of extra checking, that's good. What isn't so good is your finding of the 9-9. It happens. You did say about how you're like really tired because you've been streaming for a long time. No SSG looting. Would recommend. It's just generally a little bit faster. I'd be happy to send you an example video of how to do that. Yeah. So you blame your crafting and stuff on mechanics, not on mechanics, on being tired. Um, yeah, I was gonna make a point on this earlier. I mean, when you never know when speedrunning when you're going to get good sessions. Like, sorry, when you're going to get good worlds. And generally, you want to be at your best when you get those worlds. Um, and if you've got the mental for it, then fair enough, I guess. Go for super long sessions, and you kind of just speedrun when it's convenient. But it might be worth considering not going for 7 hours at a time. It's not generally great for your mental and physical well-being. I'm here to give advice on runs, not advice on your life. Uh, so you're welcome to ignore me. Um, did you accidentally turn hitboxes off? Yes, you did. So that's fine. I thought you were deliberately not using them, but no, it's just a mistake. That's fine. It happens. Hitboxes are good all the time. Um, you're able to find your ravine. One thing that I found really helpful is that thing where you angle the camera so you're able to see like completely clearly under the water. Um, it's really useful for being able to see where the ravines are in the ocean, much more than looking overhead. Looking overhead allows you to obviously see when you get a magma ravine and it comes within view, you can clearly see that it is a magma ravine. So you use a mixture of both. You look under the water and you look where if you don't see any kelp. Obviously, if there's kelp floating on the surface, you should head over that direction. You look under the water to see where the cracks in the ocean floor are, and then you head over to those, and then you look above and look down. And that makes finding magma ravines a bit easier. Obviously, not a problem in this run, just something to keep in mind. You remember the fact that you've already collected your flint and steel and crafted it? Good. This is good. Um, Going for the L shape. L shape is easier. Fair enough. Slightly not as optimal variation of the L shape. How do I describe this? Place one there, one up there, grab this lava, then break this magma. Um, that magma will flow, create cobblestone down here. And because you got your bucket in your offhand, so that's fine. And then you looking down at this cobblestone, looking over to the side of it, like directed at where this lava is, then you break the cobblestone and immediately pick up the lava, and then break this block, and that's is just like a little bit of a cleaner way of doing it. Um, it's certainly the way that top runners tend to do it. As soon as you collected the BT, that's when you needed to raise both render distance and entity distance. What did you do back here when you collected the BT? That's when you accidentally hide the hitboxes. and then you go over here, and as you're doing this, you raise render? Yeah. If you're doing ranked, fair enough, because it's all RTA. But in speedruns, if you pause and raise your render and entity distance, that won't count against you. If you spend more than 5 seconds, which is actually a very long time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you spend longer than that, then it will start to count against you. Um, but you have plenty of time to just pause, raise render and entity distance, and unpause. So there's no reason not to. As soon as you collect a BT, raise both, get that into your into just the way that you do things, and it will stop you from potentially sitting there for a while, not realizing that your entity distance is lowered, which is something that I do a lot sometimes. um, this is weird, and I don't know what's going on here with your E-ray. It loads. You have plenty of chunks loaded. Okay, so you lower your. Oh, you're trying to work out exactly how many chunks away it is before. There's no particular reason to do that. Just have your chunks set to like 17. Have your render distance set to like 17. Um, Knowing the distance roughly is nice, which is why you pause as soon as you enter the nether, so you can watch it slowly load in and you get a rough idea. But as long as you have the direction, then just go. You're typing in chat the direction you have to head in for the fort, um, which, I mean, no fear does it in the world record, so it's hard to really blast you for it. My method for remembering things is saying them to myself out loud. Yes, it might make you sound like a crazy person to family members, friends, anyone in the house, but I find it really effective for remembering those things where I have to head to go to the fort, other little details, whatever. Um, there's a better way to do this, Bastion, I think. So as you're going in, you clearly recognize that it's single, triple. Very good. Stables. You can see that this is a stables. 1 rampart here, 2 ramparts, 3 ramparts. Has to be a stables. No other bastion is like that. In the middle, here, where the terrain is, there's very easy access to the back of stables. You know it's single, triple. You know you're going to be trying to play for a gap. That puts you right there where the 2 gaps are. Um, uh, if you need more clarification, I'll be happy to show that in more detail to you. But yeah, that would be my first thought for entering the bastion. You probably have to dig through a little bit of terrain, but it still would be the fastest way in. Another point of entry, you clearly see it, is literally just go up there. Once you're in there, like you've got a middle triple as well. Just heading down through the middle triple will put you right where you need to be. Like it puts you right at the top of the lower part of stables where the gaps are, and you can easily start a gap route from there. So there's 2 points of entry that you have, one straight through the middle of the back, one right up there to the single chest, and then just like you grab the single chest and go straight on to the triple chest and head on down and start checking for gaps. Both those are great. I do like what you do here because it does get you in a nice place, but it's not the most optimal. Like there's clearly good thought that's gone into this, and the fact that you're thinking about your point of entry and how you're going to do that cleanly is good and will save you time. I like the idea of grabbing distraction gold in the form of the boots. Fair enough. But when you're doing a gap route with gold armor applied, you don't really need it. So I'd have just left the boots. And I think this is potentially a major mistake here, you break these bits of netherrack and don't break through the wall. The netherrack tells you nothing. I don't know if there's a gap there or not. Maybe you do. Maybe there could be hidden information about the way that this wall looks that tells you whether it's a gap or not that I just don't know about. If so, fair enough, that's on me. But as far as I know, breaking those two bits of netherrack tells you nothing. The block you want to break is this one up at the top right. You see where my cursor is? This block here. Break that. If it opens up into space behind it, gap. If it doesn't, no gap. So yeah. Yep, break that one block and it tells you whether there's a gap or not. You do get that correct. And upon deciding that there's no gap, which may or may not be right, potentially there was a gap there. Potentially I'm being an idiot, but there we go. You immediately rush to the single, which, if you're right and there is no gap, is the right decision. You throw the gold boots in there. That provides nothing. It just means that one piglin is going to stop to trade those gold boots for no reason. Ah! Okay. Handling the single. If you are lower down, piglins are inclined to go lower down. So when you're entering a single, when you're entering a triple chest and you've got no piglins on you, you break all the blocks out the way so piglins have an easy way of pathing to it. If you toggle to hard difficulty, they'll have no problem just dropping down there. Like when you break the gold. Break away these two blocks, make the trading hole, good. Break the block above, good. They generally also get stuck on that block there, and also sometimes stuck here, so at least, yeah. You can do this later, to be fair. You can make the hole get some of the pigs in, then break away these three blocks around here just to make it easier for the piglins to funnel in. Do that. Break this block down here and the block below it, then break this block. Place a block up here as you drop into the little hole that you've made for yourself, so piglins can't get to you. Sometimes piglins, like that guy almost did. That sword guy almost just ran straight over the hole. Fortunately, he didn't. But in a different run, you could have very easily died to that. I have witnessed it. I have had it happen to me many times. Make piglin pathing easier by going down and place a block here so piglins cannot get over to you, but they will still try to path to you and they will drop into the hole. It's cleaner, it's easier. Toggle to hard difficulty so piglins have no problem dropping they will drop from like 20 blocks above you and not care. So this piglin is less likely to get stuck. It's less likely to be late to the party. He will just drop down. And then when you leave, obviously remember to toggle it back to easy. So any piglins that somehow, for some reason, piglins are weird, don't do that. You only take a small amount of damage from. So yeah, you just take an unnecessary hit there, which you want to avoid. Taking a hit means you lose food. If you had saved those gold boots, you could have actually used it on that piglin that got stuck there, and you wouldn't have had to dig yourself into this hole. Another way to deal with the piglin is to lava bucket it. That works. Just get out of the way, and then you can. It only takes a little bit of lava to kill it, and then yeah. You throw more gold boots into the trading hole while they're still trading, which means that there's a chance that they'll pick up the gold boots and stare at those rather than trading. You throw some more gold boots in there. Throw your gold boots away from the hole. You don't even check chat to see the message that you put in there of the direction of the fort. I don't think. Do you? Maybe you do. but I'm making the case that you don't need to have done that because it seems to me like you're perfectly confident. Where are we going? Are we going back to the trading hole, which you've lost? It's because you placed Blackstone to get back up. Yeah, that's what confused you. Oh, because you have more gold to trade. I'm stupid. Okay, ignore me. um, if you'd chosen to enter from the single chest to begin with, sorry, the double chest, that's not. I realize now that I called that a single chest and I was completely wrong. It is a double chest. Um, See, you just remember that it's east. You just remembered that. You hadn't had to. I don't think you've ever checked chat, even though you put it in chat just in case. So I'm gonna make the case that your memory is good enough to remember those details. So stopping to put stuff in chat might be unnecessary. Um, it's maybe it is a recurring problem for you, and just didn't happen to affect you in this run. Fair enough. As soon as you approach this, you can see that this is all very blocked off. This is very open. I think also this is the direction that you came from, so you know that it's open. Um, so I think you should just line up your pearl and throw it rather than running over here first to check. Like as soon as you see that area of terrain, you should be just chucking the pearl. Eat food. You've got time while the pearl goes. Okay, you're eating it now. Fair enough. I would. Um, so this pearl's good. I like it. You should already have your fire res applied by this point. I think you've got plenty. Yeah, you've got two. Um, Line up. So as soon as you see that terrain, start lining up your pearl, chuck it, start eating the food so you have that off now. And then with this pearl here, you want to open your inventory, look for anything that you don't need and throw it out, or open up the book in your inventory, craft up. There's three things to craft before you reach the fort or before you do your blaze beds that you can do in your inventory. It's string into wool, it's nether brick into nether brick blocks, and it's glowstone dust into glowstone. And that will get you ready to make your explosives and your and get the blaze bed off. Um, Ideally, you want to have a beautifully ordered inventory and everything crafted that you can, everything that you can craft in your inventory without having to get the crafting table out before you reach the fort. It's not going to happen in every run, particularly if you're not very comfortable with doing that. Work your way up to it. Just try with each pearl throw. You either need to be using the time to eat food, chug fire res, or throw out one thing from your inventory. And then you can, as you get more confident with that, you can change it to throw out two useless things from your inventory, or alternatively, you could do one craft. As you get more confident, do two crafts. More confident, three crafts. Um, and that will make your gameplay a lot smoother. Um, it doesn't require good mechanics to be able to do that. It just requires experience and foresight. So yeah, use that in your gameplay going forward. Okay, so you have a pearl issue. You have to very carefully think about how you're going to use your pearls. The most effective use of this pearl, I think, would be to set a pearl hang to your portal, which is right there, and it would have saved you some time later on. Whenever you're doing home portal, you want to ideally set a pearl hang. So I would, rather than throwing this pearl down to the fort, which if you had more pearls would be the right decision, but since you don't, um, on the edge of the blocks here, place a boat down. Also, you have a stray blaze here. Kill it. It's right there. It's really convenient. Kill it, then go right to your blaze spawner. I think maybe you saw the spawner in advance and made the decision to go this way. In which case, really good. But yeah, that one blaze is definitely worth killing because it's just right there. Um, You've got nothing in your offhand. One thing I like to do, so you, what's ended up happening is you've got the blaze rods deep into your inventory, so checking how many blaze rods you've got is kind of difficult. What I like to do is before I start killing blazes, before I kill my first blaze, put the food into my offhand. I don't use food in my offhand for the start of the run, but for blaze killing onwards, food in the offhand is great. Um, and it means that while you're killing these blazes, while you're waiting for your axe to recharge, you can sneakily eat some food. It's a really nice little overlap. Any rods that you collect will go into the space in your inventory where the food was, and it's a really neat way of doing things. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Um, The other thing about crafting your wool and stuff before you reach the fort is it makes it very clear how many explosives, wool and glowstone, makes it very clear how many explosives you have beforehand, so you can make um, a good decision about whether or not you're going to blaze beds. In this case, you choose not to. Don't pick up that crafting table. Leave it there. You should have time in between blazes spawning to pre-craft all your explosives. Especially when you've only got a few explosives to craft, you only need to make a little bit of extra space in your inventory to accommodate all of them, and you just use the book to craft up all the beds and anchors. Here's another mistake. There's fire sitting right there, and you don't punch it out for ages. Fire gives off light level 15. Blazes can only spawn in light level 11 or below, so that one piece of fire is blocking off like 5 potential spawning spaces, so it's doing much more damage to your blaze spawning than these blocks that you're trying to break away. Get rid of the fire first, then break the blocks. I was also told the most optimal. This is from a very old video on optimal blaze spawning, so it might be incorrect. It might be since debunked, but I'm pretty sure the most optimal blocks to break are the ones immediately round the spawner. These 8 blocks around here. Someone who knows more about the game might turn around and tell you different, in which case listen to them. But I would recommend breaking, obviously get rid of the fire first, then break these, then the edge ones. Particularly weird that you would start with these ones. It's more likely that the blazes are going to spawn closer to the spawner, I think. So yeah, priorities basically for getting blazes to spawn. Like you only had 1 spawn there. If you got rid of that fire, it could have been 2. Fire's still there. The fire's still there. Get rid of it. Thank you. You like you do know something about punching out fire because you do it later on. Um, but yeah. Um, Generally blazes can spawn in quite high light levels, but if it's like right on the spawner, it needs to go. You had to check your inventory to see if you had 6 rods. If you'd offhanded your fish, it would have been right there in your hotbar and you'd be able to see it. Yeah, and the portal, which is right there, you had a really easy. It would have been really easy for you to set a really good pearl hang to it, and it would have saved you a lot of time. Oh yeah, it's down there behind the terrain. Would have saved you all this time that you took trying to find it again. I'm skipping ahead. There's nothing wrong with this. You do this, and yeah, and you only use some of your pearls, which is good. You don't want to. If you get lots of eyes, then potentially you can hold on to some of those pearls. It's good. And you locate the strongholds. Oh, yeah, that's a thing I wanted to pick up on. You waste a lot of bubbles and you take some damage. Unnecessary damage is always bad. So swim along the surface and then go down to get your first eye. You've already lost 4 bubbles before you're even going to get it, and then you should have plenty of time to go get the second eye, and even you can swap out your lava for water again. This is a really good point to do that. You just place the lava against the kelp that's right here, and you can get some water, and you can do all of that without taking any damage, and that is great. I also like that you overlap the portal animation with eating cod. That's really good use of your time. Um, throwing the fire res directly up and waiting for it to land on your head gives you a few extra seconds of fire res, which is not going to make a difference. You're just going to quartz now. You don't need those extra seconds. You still have 1 pearl to throw. Just splash it straight on the ground. You've got plenty of time. To that fire res will last you the whole time. Also, dragging the fire res over and swapping it with a boat rather than just hotkeying it in. Use hotkeys whenever you can. There's also a few instances in crafting where you drag stuff over rather than hotkeying it, which I know you say you're tired, which is fair enough. It's going to limit your mechanics, but just using hotkeys is a matter of knowledge rather than mechanics. Are you out of food at this point? Are you out of food? Hold on, let's see if you open. Oh, there was. I think you're out of food. So you're out of food. You have a lava bucket. You have hoglins right there. You're on insane pace, and you don't want to mess anything up. It's probably worth just lavaing one of those hoglins for just those little extra pork chops. I know you want to just go, and you can get food in the stronghold, but when you're not going for insane sub 10 times, taking extra seconds to do things like kill these hoglins is definitely worth it, I would say. You're welcome to ignore that advice. Maybe you prefer a more sort of high rolly strategy where you just wanna go and you want to rely on food in the stronghold and death resets. But even 2 extra pork chops makes all the difference. And I hope you know the method of building up so you can kill hoglins quickly and safely without taking a single bit of damage. If not, then let me know and I can give you a demonstration of exactly what I mean. You do a good job of avoiding any damage from these hoglins, which is nice. But yeah, you get 4 hoglins along the way. You could have killed 5 hoglins. You could have killed any of these for just a little bit of food. Oh, and you do take damage from that one as well. Should have just gone up to the train to the left early and steered well out of the way. You also take an extra bit of fall damage there. These are all just little bits that stack up. And like, there's definitely a way you could have played this run where you just take no damage at all, and the cod that you got at the start would have lasted you. Difficult to do. It requires experience and good mechanics, but it's something you should strive for. You nail your coordinates. Good job, yo. Good stuff. Yeah. You absolutely nailed that pearl. That's great. Love that. You're in. Who knows what happened in the stronghold nav? Um, Clearly didn't go very well. Um, but yeah. Okay. I was very nitpicky obviously throughout this entire run. Um, don't get me wrong, this is an amazing run, really well played. Um, I like how um you did a good job finding the chunk on this BT. You said you didn't want to learn thin BT. I'm gonna be honest, thin BT is objectively the right answer. There's all the top runners use thin BT now, and there's a reason for that. I will. Priffin made an excellent video in the runners improvement program YouTube channel about how to optimally use thin BT. I'm gonna link you that video in the description. Watch it. Maybe it'll change your mind. It is useful. Use it. Um, uh, you have to like fiddle with some settings in Jolty, um, and that's all you need to do. Um, use it and get used to it. Use more hotkeys in just generally everything, for moving stuff around your inventory. Um, and you know, practice and experience, and you can get your crafting nailed even after super long speedrunning sessions. Even when you're tired, you can still have really good crafting. It just takes time and practice. I know, very frustrating. Use your looking on the boating, like the looking under the water that I talked about. More optimal L-shaped portal build. Work on 2x1s. 2x1s are faster. If you can do 2x1s consistently, then you'll be able to shave off a second or two on your portal build. Don't fiddle around with your settings trying to figure out the exact distance of the bastion. It won't help you that much. Bastion entry points in at the back or just straight up to the triple. Break that one block I talked about to check for a good or bad gap on this side rather than two netherrack that don't tell you anything. Set a pearl hang to home portal. Punch out the fire. Offhand your food for the blaze fight. And given the and given that you're on really good pace and the pace that you're going for, take the time to get a bit extra food from the hoglins. And that's that. That was a little summary of all the important points. Lovely. Congrats on the run. Hopefully the next one that you get has a bit of a happier ending. All right. That's all.